Close it.
Oh yes, it's probably my favorite duo on the show, Dedra and Cyril.
This is Cyril and Dedra on Gorman.
Cyril,
and
so
Cyril
funny.
was finally realized.
Hey guys, welcome back to more behind the scenes content. This is my favorite kind of content to do. I love behind the scenes. I love reacting to it, finding out new things about Star Wars, and just sharing those thoughts with you guys. So today's behind the scenes is going to take us back to Andor Season 2, and we're going to be watching the video titled Andor Season 2 Behind the Scenes Commentary, Casting Directors Nina Gold and Martin Ware. So I'm pretty excited to check out this video, and I can't wait to check out more behind the scenes in general with you guys, so definitely stay tuned for more of that content. Now, I thought Andor Season 2 was actually really excellent. There were like one or two little things I didn't like, but honestly, when I think of Disney Star Wars, I think Andor is probably at the top end of what was done by Disney and Lucasfilm. I would say it's 8.5 out of 10, maybe even 9 out of 10 Star Wars content in terms of like my personal ratings. Still not too crazy about Season 1, but Andor Season 2 was pretty awesome. And in general, I watch behind the scenes as it pertains to just about anything Star Wars. So I'm excited to get into this, and I'm excited to keep doing more videos like this with you guys. So without holding things up for too long, and without further ado, let's jump into today's video about Andor Season 2 and their behind the scenes.
Luthen.
Oh dear, you found me.
When it comes to casting
Love Luthen.
for Andor, our general hope is to cast really brilliant actors in all the parts,
They
big
definitely
and
did.
small.
Tony Gilroy, who is the showrunner and writer of Andor, thought long and hard about every person's journey, whether or not they'd have one line or a lead in the show. So we want to make sure we're just getting the best acted in all of those parts.
You know, like the
I'm
camera
Nina
work is
Gold,
fantastic
casting
too.
director on Andor.
And I'm Martin Ware. I'm casting director on Andor.
Let's keep making avoidable mistakes.
Let's keep overreacting.
Here's Luthen and Claire. Obviously, Stellan Skarsgård is completely a genius. We needed to find someone to play Claire who, whilst being a young woman, could match him in authority and intensity and could go toe-to-toe with him in all situations, such as this one. And she really did that.
And with Stellan, because he kind of plays two parts in a way for quite a lot of the show. The gallery owner requires quite a lot of lightness of tone.
Yeah, it is cool. Like the actor who plays Luthen, it's kind of like he's playing like three different people at once, right? He's playing the person in the flashbacks, he's playing Luthen as is in his true feelings, and he's playing like Luthen, the guy who's deceiving all these politicians, these ISB people who are coming to his shops, even deceiving some of the people that work for him, like Lonnie. Lonnie is when he kind of deceives.
Touch, and then he's got the darker side, so it was just finding
Finding
someone with
who
that
could
range.
do that journey with him. She really had this inner command and,
real authority.
yeah.
So this is a scene with Mohammed Bayer and Forrest Whitaker. And when we were casting Season 1, we cast Mohammed in quite a small part in the Ferrix world.
I totally forgot about this scene.
Thought he was brilliant. He had one or two lines and some nice reaction shots. But we thought that might be it for him. And then when Tony Gilroy told us that he had big plans for him in Season 2, and then we finally saw the scripts, we were so delighted that Tony had seen him, loved him, and wanted to write this amazing part for him.
And that Tony had really believed in him from the
Spoiler
from his
alert.
appearance in Season 1, could really spot that he had all this going on for Season 2.
Spoiler.
During the casting of Season 1, we met, well, we didn't meet, we had self-tapes from a lot of really young, new actors.
There's like something about his facial expressions. It seems so like raw and intense, and he always kind of seems like, not the actor, the character that he portrays, right? He does such a good job where the character always feels like he's stepping off the edge of the cliff, or that someone has a gun to his back and he's gonna step off the edge of the cliff. Every time he communicates some sort of action, or every time there's something that he does in the show, it always seems like there's a purpose, and that the character knows that purpose in his action could be like his last decisive moment.
From the Season 2, had self-tapes from a lot of really young, new actors. And he really rose to the top of that. And obviously, Forrest Whitaker is the great Forrest Whitaker.
We were so happy he'd come and play for a few days, and he's amazing.
Can you imagine how great it would be for Mohammed Bayer to find himself acting opposite Forrest Whitaker, aged 18? Just be amazing.
Get out. Close it.
Oh yes, it's probably my favorite duo on the show, Dedra and Cyril.
This is Cyril and Dedra on Gorman.
Cyril,
And
so
Cyril
funny.
has finally realised that things haven't been quite what he
Cyril
thought
always
there.
looks like his balls got cut off.
Dedra's the evil mastermind. And these two actors, Denise Gough and Kyle Soller,
I love the
are
style with the
just
tie and stuff.
fantastic, brilliant, top of
They
their
were
game
brilliant. Good job, guys.
actors. We'd seen them in all
Very
of this
good.
incredible stage work that they've been doing for, a lot of years in the UK. And this was a real amazing showcase for their brilliance on screen. In this scene, both of their characters have really gone through a really big journey to go from where they started as she was very impenetrable, authoritarian boss, and he was somewhat at a loss and didn't really know what was going on.
Moved in with his mum and had a deadbeat job. And then in season 2, Dedra's character, we see her in a domestic setting, we see her at home, we see her dealing with Cyril's mum.
Yeah, it's a weird
It
one.
will start to unravel in quite a big way.
And loving Cyril in her own very strange, peculiar way.
And I guess the scales fall from his eyes eventually, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah, so one thing I didn't like or I didn't care too much about with Andor season 2 was like on Gorman, the music, it sounds like the chants, it sounds a little too real worldy to me, but teach their own, right? You're not gonna like everything.
So this is the beginning of the Gorman massacre, which is the climax of the Gorman story that runs throughout most of season 2.
And it's
Yeah,
really
he like
an
loses his
immense
shit there.
set piece, isn't it?
He's like, look
With
at what I'm a
lot
part of.
People.
Like-
Yeah, there's something like 350 in the crowd and nearly 50 stunt people, and then the actors as well. So there's about 400 people there on set, which is a big day.
Yeah, so part of the challenge of casting the whole story is that there are distinct worlds and planets, and we have to find a way to differentiate them and give them a different vibe.
All the actors learnt a fictional language that quite a lot of their scenes are in. When they're speaking to each other, they're speaking Gorman to each other. And then when they're
Yeah,
speaking
it's
to
like
outsiders,
modified
they're all
French.
speaking English
What it is.
with the same accent.
This cafe used to be full of designers.
Modified
When we cast
French.
These actors, we worked with a brilliant French
supposed to be
casting director
France.
called Mathilde Snodgrass.
That's what I always thought of.
who
It's like a
introduced
fashion
us
capital.
to some
Or maybe like
brilliant
Italy.
French
but
actors, and
sound-
really helped us
There you go.
explore who was out there and who would be up for coming and
You're French.
playing lots of complicated, interesting scenes in a totally fictional language. And they were all up for it.
It sounds really ridiculous when you say it now. At the time, it seemed like a really good idea. It seemed
was a
to
good
be
idea.
a
You
way
guys
of
did
giving them
well.
their own
I wasn't-
distinct identity.
I wasn't crazy about the French stuff,
For the
but
crowd scenes
Still
in
good.
this Gorman massacre, it was really important to have real people there rather than CGI crowds.
It just makes the atmosphere
Practical
more
effects, man,
authentic
really
and
sell a set.
tangible, and the feeling of a load of people panicking and trying to get the hell out of there was really happening.
And knowing and seeing that it's all there happening for real helps you consider crowds and riots and this kind of event in other world contexts.
oh, I love these scenes too. I would do a vacation retreat there in a place like that.
There's
It's so
a
cool.
scene where Cassian's woken up and found that Bix has left early in the morning and starts listening to a voice message she's left for him.
And this is Adria Arjona, who we cast in
Oh
season
man.
1, which is probably now.
Yo, hot take. I have definitely gotten to some intense negotiations and conversations with like super Andor fans, and they're not like the most not the most understanding of other people's opinions. I understand how Tony Gilroy, I guess he wants to cast this moment. I understand how fans perceive this moment to be, but I always thought that people say that she's choosing, the rebellion. I guess she's choosing to like let Cassian do his thing, and that's more beneficial for the rebellion or whatever. I always thought she chose her personal life and her family over the rebellion, right? She took herself out of the rebellion, she takes her kid out of the rebellion, and she leaves Cassian because she knows Cassian's purposes with the rebellion. And she chose herself and her child over that life. She chose raising her family over the life of rebellion. She pretty much said, we'll leave it to the other guys, right? And there's no shame in that, like, at all. That's a very human decision that people make every day. It doesn't make you less of a hero, right? She served her purpose. People are trying to say she's actually choosing to remain in the rebellion in a weird way. I just don't see it that way. It doesn't make sense. She literally takes the kid, goes to live on another planet, in some nice cornfield, whatever, away from all the noise to do her thing and protect her child. That's choosing her family and her personal life over the rebellion. So I don't know. I'm curious to know what you guys think, but that's just how I saw it, and that's how it looks to me, in my opinion.
Now 5 years ago, and as soon as she did her first, like 5 words of her first audition, it suddenly became really obvious that it must be her. She had such incredible mix of the kind of strength and resilience of Bix and the vulnerability and willingness to go through this immense journey that Bix has to go through. She was one of the few people who we were able to get in the room to do a chemistry test with Diego. And again, that just...
Yeah, she did great in her role.
Cemented it very clearly that they were really meant to be playing these parts opposite each other.
The scripts alone are so detailed and precise about character and intention that it's quite easy for us to start thinking about brilliant actors to bring them to life. But then Tony Gilroy also would love to talk about the briefs and to talk about other thoughts he had on the characters before we headed out there making lists and auditioning actors.
Yeah, we had an incredibly collaborative process with Tony and with Zanna Vollenberg, the producer, and it was fascinating because Tony's right. The character is, his interest in character is so detailed and wonderful, and he's very flexible in his thinking, isn't he?
He looks so
when
pale
he
in those
sees something
scenes.
in an actor that's not necessarily the thing that he'd originally thought, he's quite happy to make some changes in his thought process if it seems the right thing to do. And also the writing is so appealing to actors because it is so interesting and good.
I think that's all from us for now. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
I like how humble they sounded, right? Thank you, Nina Gold and Martin Ware. I like how humble they sound when they're talking about Star Wars, and I like that. I like that there's like an aspect of humility, right? And it's always nice to see that from, you know, the people who are making Star Wars, in my opinion, right? Just having humility, having patience to discuss and teach, you know, what they know about casting and the characters, and kind of giving us that knowledge. It's like one of the cool things about behind the scenes. But when I think of behind the scenes, I always think back to like the behind the scenes with Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, even like the originals. And when you listen to how George talks, right? George is very much someone who's like, gives you like a mentor vibe, gives you the vibe of like, again, teaching, bestowing that knowledge, explaining Star Wars. I mean, I think, in my opinion, I kind of feel like he's like the only person who can really explain Star Wars to you, because like he's the one who created it, right? So I'll listen to what other people have to say, and anyone has to say in Star Wars who's making Star Wars right now, just to hear their point of view. But I always kind of put, off topic, I always put George Lucas's word. George Lucas's word is like biblical, right? Because he made Star Wars. Biblical in the sense of like, that's canon. His word is canon, right? But it's nice to see that humility from, you know, the casting directors in the sense. I thought they did do a tremendous job with the casting in this show, particularly with Luthen, Kreia, Cyril and Dedra also. And not only the casting of Cyril and Dedra, but just how they bounce off each other. Knowing that they would have that kind of chemistry was very, very cool. Obviously, Diego Luna too, fantastic casting choice. But yeah, that was behind the scenes with the casting directors for Andor season 2. I thought they did a phenomenal job. I thought everyone they cast did really an awesome job in the show, and that's why the show, or at least season 2, at least in my opinion, I think season 2 is fantastic. And a lot of it goes back to the work that these people did. So, you know, hats off to them. Hats off to the casting directors, Nina and Martin. Thank you again. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and if you enjoy behind the scenes content, learning more about Star Wars, learning more about things like the casting directors, or even checking out that book I got back there, the Star Wars Archives of Paul Duncan. If you like that kind of content, let me know down below. It's great content in my opinion because you can keep revisiting it. It's like evergreen content. You can always go back, you can always revisit, you can always find something new to learn. And those things we're going to learn are things I want to learn with you guys and things I want to continue to learn together. So with that being said, let's continue to learn together. I hope you enjoyed watching this behind the scenes video on Andor Season 2 with the casting directors. And until next time, everyone, stay safe out there, and may the Force be with you always. I'll catch you in the next behind the scenes video.